Hey everyone, my name's Saul,
Hey, I'm Daniel.
and this is the Local Drunks
Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in. If you are interested, you can follow us on Instagram or YouTube.
At localdrunkspod is the tag.
Nice, nicely done. And also you can find us on Patreon. You just got to search for Local Drunks Pod. $5 a month gets you a little inside peek at what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Yeah, you get to peek inside. You hear that?
Peek inside. So yeah, man. So what's new? What's going on? What have you been up to? Any good restaurants you hit or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I've just been working mostly, but one restaurant that I do remember going to a few weeks ago or very recently was Pinto Thai in downtown Oakland. It was actually pretty good.
Oh, nice.
It was a great time. Service was awesome. The food is pretty solid over there. And what did I get? I got a curry. I got a roti, which is perfect, which is fine. And then something else, like a lemongrass chicken. I can't recall. The price point is a bit high, but it's downtown Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a poppin' lunch spot, so they got like great lunch deals. I went for dinner with Chan, but it was good.
Nice.
Highly recommend it if you're ever in the area and you want Thai food. There's also like Farmhouse Thai and Jack London, but we live closer to Pinto, so Pintoh Thai. Suggest that one. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, fast casual.
That's cool. Do you recommend that?
Yeah, highly. It's fantastic. It's a little expensive, but it's fantastic.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
I
that.
haven't had a good time in a while. My wife brought some leftover. They went to go get it was Eastern or Southeast Asian fusion food, and it was super tasty.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got to get the name of that place. But her company she works for goes out to lunch a lot.
Nice.
And then it wasn't until like the fourth time we went out for lunch. She was like, "Yeah, I thought the company was covering it, but no, we all have to pay for our own. So can you Venmo these people this amount of money?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I started Venmoing people. I go, "Yeah, so what are you gonna do now?" And she was like, "Well, I'm not going out to lunch anymore. That's for sure."
Yeah,
She goes,
cold,
"Yeah."
bro.
She goes, "Nope." She goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Yeah. If other people invite you, it's probably you got to pay for it, man."
Yeah.
So
It's not the boss, huh?
Not the boss. So, but it's kind of funny. It made me laugh a little bit.
I hate when that happens. A miscommunication.
Miscommunication.
You're just like, oh, let me get some side of rice on that.
Oh, we all splitting starters? Like, what's going on?
I'll have a
Let's
Thai
do
tea.
this. Heck yeah.
Okay, treat myself today.
Yeah.
Oh, also Venmo me this month. You're like,
Yeah.
I didn't
That's what
realize
it
that,
goes.
dude. Why don't you tell me anything, bro? They just assumed.
I'll just eat who's ever has leftovers.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just order a small plate, and whoever doesn't finish it, let me grab that.
Yeah, give me that chicken on a stick and a
This
thing of sticky rice, and we'll.
Chicken, fire, dude.
Chicken's fire.
That's all. That's all
And
you
that
need.
peanut
right there.
sauce, delicious.
Take that, dip it.
Yeah, for all you guys who have a peanut allergy, you're missing out on peanut sauce. It's just delicious.
All you that have a peanut allergy, fuck you.
Yes. Get your shit together.
Hope you get spread with Skippy.
Yeah.
Not really. Not my buddy Carson. He's a good guy.
Yeah, my same thing. Will's a good guy too. He's peanut allergy.
Don't eat peanuts, Carson, please. We love you.
So, what I'm drinking today, little side note, is going to be a Sierra Nevada
Ooh, the unreleased.
Oktoberfest, a Festbier.
What's the bottom part mean? Goodman.
It's a collaboration Gutman edition, but it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say exactly what that means. So I have to actually look that up. Maybe I'll look it up while we have a second. But it's a lager. It is 6% ABV. We like Sierra Nevada because they are family owned. They were founded around 1980. A guy named Ken Grossman and his family owns, operated, and of course their tag now is family owned, operated, and argued over is the tag. But nice little Oktoberfest beers. Oktoberfest usually the last 2 weeks of September and first week of October usually. Then it ends. A lot of local breweries don't have enough foresight to local small craft breweries don't have enough foresight to do that, or don't understand the culture in general, so they just start having Oktoberfest like the last weekend of September all the way through like early. I saw Oktoberfest for early November one time last year, and I'm like, that's just lazy.
Oktoberfest in November.
In November.
Yeah,
It is a harvest festival, so that's
like
why
we
it's
grew
where
our
it's at.
mustaches for Oktoberfest.
And then if it was also up to Sam Adams, they would release Oktoberfest. I think they do it months ahead. So like they start releasing it they used to release it in August, which was seen as a really early time. But now I think they start releasing it end of June, which is too early.
Hell early. That's like Walmart with their and Target and Costco with their Halloween decorations. Bro, I was in the east side, Oakland. Some houses already have their full setups for Halloween.
They just never took them down from last year, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Show me a house with Halloween decorations in July, and I'll show you a house where Mexicans live.
It is true.
Yeah.
This is true. They're like, mijo, every day's Halloween.
You want to smell it?
I've already had it, but I'm down. Oh, that smells delicious.
Yeah, it's really good.
That smells delicious.
You're getting my Alt Brow and Southwest Ceramics cup. Alt Brow is a guy named Tim Decker. He is from my hometown, our hometown of Fresno. He came up here, started working with Lagunitas, and he does a lot of collaborations with other breweries, a lot of wild fermented ales. They'll have releases. He goes to Europe a lot and works with a lot of European breweries as well. Super good beer. I've actually been able to get a couple of his beers and a couple of his collaborations and drink them. And then you can follow him at Altbrau, ALTBRAU. He's up in Sacramento now. I think he works for Admiral Maltings. I think he's a malt seller, but he also still makes. He's one of their salesmen, but he's also makes beer still, and he travels around and talks with beer people. And the South Sac Ceramics is another hometown guy, and he's been throwing and selling for a long time, and they did a collaboration mug
cool.
So that Tim could get some funds to make another beer post-pandemic. So nice little, you kill two birds with one stone. All local boys you got to support.
I'm wearing I'm sporting the No Pants, No Problem coffee cup since we're doing a morning session.
It's for...
Or should I call it a morning brew?
A morning brew. Nicely done. We do drink in the morning. That's like four episodes in a row with the no pants, no problem.
Yeah.
You hear
the baby.
A child in the back. That's fine.
Dad podcast.
Yeah. So for me, I don't
week?
think we've really been to that many spots.
You had the Mexican restaurant here that gave you the churros.
Yeah, that wasn't a good spot. Excuse me. And then we talked about the noodle spots last week.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find a good pizza spot. That's probably the one thing we've been trying to do, because we were living just north of West Berkeley in this place called Albany. And we're pretty spoiled as far as pizza goes up there, especially Chicago style pizza. There's Zachary's Pizza in the area, so we would just go and eat that whenever we want to do that.
Pizza, bro?
Yeah, dude, it's good. It's like a lasagna.
Yeah, and it's like a deep dish.
It's a deep dish, yeah.
Meals.
Yeah. We'd stretch it to like 3 days.
It's an investment.
And then after the day after, no one else wanted to eat it, so I pretty much be eating it for the next 3 days.
Cold.
Yeah, dude, it's good.
Delicious cold.
Yeah,
stacked.
And then so we've been looking for one here, and we went to was it Ace Pizza? I'm gonna have to look it up now. A1 Pizza.
Was it good or?
It wasn't bad actually. It's kind of like, I think he does kebabs too, so it's like one of those spots. Yeah, like a Middle Eastern spot, Mediterranean spot for sure.
How was the dough? Was it good?
The dough was actually not shabby. Laval's is kind of the same way, I would say. It's kind of like a Pizza Laval's up there.
Okay.
It is going to be A-Town Pizza.
A-Town.
I think there's a couple of them. I think there's one up in Hayward too, but this one's in Union City.
Me and Ed's.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't one up here. I could have sworn that there was one. No, I don't think there is one there. No. This one kind of reminded me. It's the other one we went to, which is called Shaker's Pizza, were heavily reminding me of Me and Ed's.
Really?
Yeah, even when you walked in, it was like a classic pizza parlor joint.
Oh.
You walk in, and it's just like they have the arcades on one side, they have all the wood tables and everything else. It kind of reminded me of, you remember when they changed the Me and Ed's in Tower, and from the old building to the new like 1920s Art Nouveau style building.
Yeah.
And then they ended up not sticking, like they kept the inside kind of the same with all the wood, but you go into like these old pizza parlors, especially me and Ed's, and it's just all wooden side and stuff like
Oh,
that.
that definitely looks like Little Caesar or Me and Ed's.
And the crust is very like that thin cardboard.
That thin with the
Yeah. The cylinder base, yeah. And then it's just like that classic,
Those look good.
chunky toppings. So that one wasn't too bad. The flavor wasn't quite on. I have to say the tomato sauce was sweeter.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But there's another guy, if we're talking pizza,
Pizza.
there's this pop-up that's run by this dude, and he goes by the Pizza Mason. And
Oh, you
he
went to that?
pops up. He's from Fresno.
Oh, he's from Fresno.
He's from Fresno. He learned how to
Follow
make
him on
pizza at
Instagram.
Me and Ed's down in Tower. That was the first job he ever had.
Good for that guy.
And I've ran into him one time in Oakland, and I didn't want to say anything to him, but I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, man? He came into this coffee shop I was managing. And I was kind of like, oh, that's the Pizza Mason. That's the Pizza Mason. But you're supposed to go and swear undying fealty to him, I think. He's supposed to like sell your soul or something for his pizza. But he does like a sourdough style crust.
Nice.
And he was originally out of Federation Brewing in Oakland. And the Federation got bought by Dokai Beer, which is a Korean owned like microbrewery. They do like a kimchi sour and all these other things. Super wild tasting. It tastes interesting. Not something I would drink every single week,
That's my issue with
but
sours. You
something
can't just drink sours.
like something I might drink like if the mood calls for it, or
Yeah.
like if I have a good food on front of me. I'm like, yeah, I'll drink a sour. But Dokai Beer and Jack London, and then he still runs every Sunday, and he does pre-sales on Fridays, and then he'll take long periods of time off. Like he takes like November
I've
through
seen
December off, and then he took a couple of months off, and then I think his partner got injured or something, so he had to take care of her on the weekends, or them on the weekends, so then he wasn't able to be open for a while. But Pizza Mason at Pizza Mason, I think, is going to be his
Is he back up and
Instagram.
running? Because
He's up and
every time
running,
I
yeah.
was trying to go, he was just like, "Oh man, I cut my hand. I'm out for the next 3 weeks."
Yeah, dude. When he
Kinda
he
like
cut his
that, dog.
hand, and I can't remember. I remember seeing him. I think he was in like a city
I
uniform.
sneezed. Sorry, I got to
Yeah.
take 3 weeks off.
Yeah, he was like in a pizza like a city uniform. So I think he works for the cities, and he's like does physical stuff
Yeah,
for
but
them.
that's unsanitary, bro.
Yeah, so I think he
He's the
like
garbage
hurt
man.
himself. Yeah,
he's wearing a
the
waste
garbage man,
management.
waste management. Yeah, he was wearing like an Oakland city like uniform, and I was just like, oh, you
Hey,
want to
that's
work
cool,
for the
bro.
city or something?
If I
Hey,
work for
dude,
the
benefits,
city,
baby.
Weekends off, bro.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, start a little pizza pop up on the weekends. Why not? I've been
So,
trying to
yeah.
get my boy to do that too. He's got one of those Oni's pizza ovens.
Oh, yeah.
12-inch ones.
Oh yeah.
And he made some empanadas and some
That's sexy.
some little pizzas, and they were amazing. But I mean, he's got a lot of experience. He's a Michelin chef, so he's done all the pastas and the bigas but he bought the dough actually from Berkeley Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and he just threw the toppings on, and it was fire.
Yeah, he did like this Mexican street corn
Elote?
mystery pie of the week. Fresh mats, grana, sweet corn, jalapenos, cilantro, microgreens, tahini ranch drizzle,
Damn.
and a toasted sesame crust.
Okay, that sounds fire.
Yeah,
Please
no,
stop
it's an
eating your-
interesting good kimchi pie, aka fermentation lamentation. He's been planning to play these fermented things for a while.
Okay.
But it's kimchi, sweet corn, garlic, confit, green onion, toasted sesame seeds, basil, fresh mats, finished with a gochujang sauce drizz.
That sounds
Look at
fantastic.
that, dude. Yeah, fucking
Oh,
good.
that looks delicious.
Yeah. No, he's pretty good. I definitely recommend going there. Solid pies.
What
And
is it
then-
on, like 50 a pie?
No, they're like 20, 22,
That's not bad at
25
all.
maybe.
'Cause I know he's
And they're
running
big.
that food
They're
really-
like, I bought three one time because I took my wife and my daughter.
Damn.
And it cost me like $70 or something. But that's not horrible. And we had enough pie like to go
Right.
home with. And they're like medium. I think they're medium sized
That's
pies,
like
I would
one
say.
Zachary's eat-in price point. You get
Yeah.
that, a salad, a couple of drinks.
Yeah,
Paying
exactly.
the same out the door.
And then if you're in the city, I recommend hitting my other buddy's spot called.
Have you ever been to Beretta in the Mission?
I wanted to hit Beretta, but I never have hit it.
Solid. It's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
There's another place in the Mission we walked by the other day. Yellow Moto. Yellow Moto's pretty good.
Yellow Moto.
Yeah. Then they're off of 18th and Valencia. And then, but yeah, I've heard of Beretta and I always wanted to go check it out, but I never have.
It's one of those good post-works, like if you work in the city.
hmm
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Just pizza, pasta, salad, drinks. But always popping and always a good time. Good pizzas, too. Good pastas, too. Everything's good.
Yeah. Yellow Motor used to be flour and water, and then they switched over.
Oh, what?
And then I always want to check out Beretta. There is this one too that was called, I can't remember but they make a really interesting pan style pizza. I'll remember in a second. And then Out of Sight's the other one. That's going to be in the Loin. Out of Sight's really good. They're opening a second location in Chinatown, I want to say. Yeah, it's probably going to be hella good. But they're working on that. That's a good spot. They were voted like one of the 6 New York Times. Anytime New York Times comes out with anything, people are like, oh my God, it has to be, it's gospel because it's New York Times, especially when it's food. But this New York Times guy like went all around the country, and he named them one of the 6 best New York style pizza slices outside of New York.
Okay.
It was like them, like a place in Miami, like this, like I think place down in, I think up in Portland or Seattle, and then there's like Atlanta, and then there's like a place in Texas. But he like was all over the place, and he named them one of them, and then they got a lot of clout because of that.
I'm gonna need that job.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Freaking pay me to go around and eat and talk about it. But yeah, what you can actually $5 Patreon. And also Sierra Nevada, we are for sale. Please, we're drinking your stout next episode. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, Pizza Mason's a good spot to hit. And then we hit Shakers. Shakers was decent. I think I liked it more than my family did. And then A-Town seems to be like our go-to though.
Okay.
Because everyone else is around us is just a corporate. So
Round Table.
we try not to hit Round Table,
which is the best of the corporate.
Mountain Mike's. Like there's a couple other ones too. But yeah, I'd say Round Table's the best out of all those. But I digress. Yeah. So
Snow Pizza Pirate though from Selma.
Snow Pizza Pirate.
Did I tell you the story of the Pizza Pirate?
No.
They closed it because someone got shot in the head in the middle of service.
Holy moly.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, I worked at this dive bar, and like 3 months after I left, someone got killed there. And it was the same reason. This dude was hitting on this lady. And the lady's like, I have a husband, this and I have a man, this and that.
Yeah.
And he kept just hitting on her. And then she went and got her boy, and the dude came, and he was threatening him. And the guy that was hitting on the girl initially pulled a gun out and went to go shoot him. And her man must have had fast reflexes because he moved and he pulled the trigger and shot her right in the head, killed her.
Damn.
And then that dude, they ended up arresting that guy in like Minnesota or something. He like ran.
What?
Yeah, Michigan or Minnesota or something like that. Yeah. But then that's what closed that place down.
Jesus.
Because that's what happened. That place was partially a gang, like a local gang bar anyway. So it was a little dicey, like working there all the time.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
a
what's
lot
up,
of stuff, dude. I kept walking in, people like having sex in the bathrooms. They had this back room, like where there was a pool table.
How did that place stay
people caught people having sex there. It was wild.
Fresno, you gotta step it up, bro.
Fresno, those always good times. I always liked working like. That was a little bit on the crazier side. They had the guy owned another bar called Whiskey River, which I think is closed now as well. But that place was even more suspect than the one I worked at.
You had a race the first time.
Yeah, Whiskey River, Whiskey River.
It's like Reedley Beach. There's no beach.
There's no beach, bro. It's a canal.
Death.
Yeah, it's a canal. Yeah,
raging waters and death.
Yeah,
a huge undertow.
Yeah, the Central Valley. We'll have to go down there and just do a special one day.
You sure?
Just do it.
We're going straight to Whiskey River.
You're going to hit the Whiskey River, yeah.
And Pizza Pirate.
Whiskey Creek, that was what it was called. Whiskey Creek, that's what it was called. Anyway, it was off of like, it was in Belmont.
Down
I think it was on Belmont. Oh, it was somewhere. It was heckady.
G Street, yeah.
But that was a good time. Haven't really watched anything recently. I started watching Cook's Tour again. It's been a long time since I watched it. Cook's Tour is Anthony Bourdain's very first travel show. It's interesting to watch it because he's happy. He ended up releasing.
I'm no longer in a kitchen.
Yeah, and he's just excited to be out. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
You could tell Japan's his favorite place to ever go, and he talks about it just nonstop. Whenever they say, "Hey, where would you go?" or "Where would chefs live?" and he always says Tokyo. But he hits there. He hits like China, like Hong Kong. I think he hits Singapore. It's been a while since I watched it, but I just started watching it again. The first 2 episodes are in Japan, and then he keeps moving on. But he ends up writing a book That's right. These just aren't props. They are technically, dude, but it's called The Cook's Tour from Anthony Bourdain. And it was like kind of his first book after Kitchen Confidential. So I wanted to say it came out before Medium Raw.
Medium Raw.
Yeah. So what's the publish date on that? I want to say it came out before Medium Raw. This is actually signed by him.
Oh,
you know that?
Oh, you got a signed board?
I got a signed Medium
sick,
Raw.
Bro. I was just 01 actually.
Yeah, see?
Oh, sick, bro.
Yeah.
I was looking for one online. They're like $400.
Yeah. You have to get not his books. You got to get like his comics and stuff like that because he came out with a comic book. He came out with a couple of detective novels.
What?
He came out with cookbooks.
Yeah.
Around his death, they were always higher.
Right.
And around Christmas, they're always higher. Mid-spring, they're pretty low.
Ah.
You can get like, he wrote this cookbook with the guy who drew art for, oh my goodness, Hunter F. Thompson.
No way.
The artist did like his best friend or whatever.
Holy shit.
And that dude actually would draw his, did art for him for that book. And that book you can usually find pretty inexpensive signed.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But yeah, this is
sick.
2010. Yeah, this Medium Raw is 2010. So I'm pretty sure that's like 2006, 2005. 01. So yeah, because that's around the same time that show launched in 2001.
Damn. Rough year.
Yeah.
Cambodia.
And then he wrote The Nasty Bitch, which actually might be before that too. 2006.
Damn.
It's the first edition also. Fucking hell.
Sick, dude.
I like that. I gotta check these out.
Some good collection, bro.
Yeah. I like to read.
Like
You have a copy of Kitchen Confidential, right?
I do, but it's not a first edition, first release.
I don't think this is the first either. I have 2 copies.
I have the updated with the.
This is 2010, so this is like their third edition.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, because they re-released it. They reprinted it when he came out with Medium Raw.
Yeah, with all the updates.
Yeah. But yeah, Cook's Tour. Started watching that, so I recommend that. You can find it on YouTube. You can find most stuff on YouTube, but that one has YouTube. Other than that, you can get it on Amazon. I think also Tubi has it as well.
Tubi.
So yeah, Tubi has almost everything. Tubi has a lot of food stuff, but that and then I watched. I was gonna do a double feature this weekend, this past weekend, but I'll do it this upcoming weekend. I'm gonna watch Tampopo, and then which is a Japanese movie about a woman who owns a ramen shop, and she wants to learn how to make really good ramen. And then I'm going to follow it up with the American version of that called Ramen Girl,
Ramen Girl.
with Brittany Murphs. Plays an American girl who breaks up with her Japanese or her boyfriend who's stationed in Japan. Very much like
R.I.P.
What is that one movie? Lost in Translation. They're not broken up though. She's just
Scar.
cheating on him emotionally with Bill Murray,
Scarjo.
and then she ends up in this ramen shop, and then she's like crying, and then the dude's like, "Why cry when you can make soup or something?" And then he teaches her how to make ramen. Anyway,
that's one way to do it. That's what a lot of cooks do. They bury their emotions by just focusing on work.
yeah, working harder by shucking a million oysters. Never ending. I'm gonna always make fun of that movie. Burnt.
Dude, we gotta watch it.
Damn, we gotta do a live where we watch it and we just react to it while we're doing it. Yeah, on the Patreon. We'll have group watchings. That's a good idea.
Get some cooks in here.
And then books too. I recommend reading that book as well. I've been reading this. Also, library. I've been hitting the library and checking out different cookbooks.
Yeah.
So I got this one called Flavors of the Sun.
What?
Flavors.
Is that Mexican?
And no, it's a middle.
It's a Mediterranean. Damn, that's a thick boy.
Thick. The Sahadi's Guide to Understanding, Buying, and Using Middle Eastern Ingredients by Christine Sahadi Wellen. And it's actually Middle Eastern books or Middle Eastern cuisine I never really got into. I always loved eating it,
right,
but I was not from the region. But they do have that.
Fire.
a lot of stuff like minted baby lamb chops with pomegranate glaze. Your local library, man, they have a whole section of not just cookbooks but alcohol books as well.
And you can order them too.
And you can order them too if there's something not by you.
Yeah, they'll be on
You
hold.
could go online and order them, and then they'll let you know when they're available.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I love going through and going it. And then I'm familiar with a lot of the flavor spices just because they use a lot of the spices in Spanish cuisine.
that makes sense.
Because, everyone knew Spain was controlled by,
The Greek-
not the Greeks, sorry. Anyway, there was a large
Saul's
Islamic kingdom. Like a caliphate that actually got into Spain and actually ruled Spain for a long time,
during the Golden Era.
and then that was during probably like pre 1400s. So like I think 800 to or like 900 all the way up to. So and then of course the Catholic
Church.
armies and church funded this whole movement to actually kick all of them out. And it's actually funny because Spain was unified in 1492, same year that Spain discovered the New World, or like Christopher Columbus, using Spanish money, discovered the New World, but it wasn't unified until then. But yeah, so they had taken back all of these, who they called the Moors, but all of these Islamic territories, and kind of like won all those territories back in the south of Spain and everything.
Damn.
There's a pretty good historical fiction, but it's based on actual happenings, called El Cid, on Amazon. And they kind of talk about, they only came out 2 seasons. They're going to make a 3rd season, and then COVID happens, and I don't think they're ever going to bring it back. But it was a pretty good show. Really classic. I think you'd like it. Lots of, it was their shot. Everyone took a shot at dethroning Game of Thrones. So it's like violence, political intrigue, nudity. So like everything
right
had
up my
that,
alley.
yeah, and swords and stuff.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
Does it have?
but
Does it have Pedro Pascal too?
no,
I
thank
don't
God.
want it. Sheet pan chicken with sumac and winter squash. Fire.
The Caliphate of Cordoba,
Caliphate of Cordoba. Can you send that to me?
January 16th. Muslim state exists in Spain from 1929 to 1031. And then they kind of just, the Umayyad state of Cordoba, that's what it is. 756 to 1031. And then that's when the Catholic Church started taking small parts of Spain back. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
That shit
So.
looks so good. So, okay, yeah. I was wondering where anise hyssop gets used the most, and it makes sense that it's used
Hmm.
in Mediterranean. That stuff is pretty good. I don't know if
Yeah.
we use it in our absinthe.
Yeah.
Ooh, those lambs, dude. This looks good. Have you cooked anything for me?
No, not yet. I got to jump in there more. I'm like in the middle of reading this sci-fi horror book called Dead Silence, which is very reminiscent of Dead Space, the video game.
Yeah, it sounds like Dead Space.
And then I'm also reading this other book called Bad Mexicans, which is about the Mexican Revolution in the 1910s. And then I was going to jump into that after I finished one of those. So I'm like halfway through Dead Silence. I'm a quarter way through Bad Mexicans.
How's Bad Mexicans?
And I was going to jump in. It's pretty interesting. It's good. I like reading history books like that. And it's one of those history books to where it's focused on like keeping you enthralled. Like,
do good
yeah, there's
style.
like different levels of like history, especially when it's written. Like there's like your classic like history for everybody. Like this is going to keep you in the Garden of Beasts or Devil in the White City, where like these books are like, hey, this is a focused period of time, and we're going to tell you one story about one thing in history, and we kind of pace it out like it's a fictional like a fictional story,
Okay.
but it's nonfiction. It's all based in
I
fact.
see.
And then you have things like, everyone's like, oh, like The Revenant. Now, The Revenant is all made up. Like,
Full fiction?
he looks at this thing and he's like, oh, there's this dude who accuses Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, if you've seen the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio accuses, I can't remember the guy who leaves him out for dead.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. He accuses Tom Hardy of leaving. There's a court document where this character accuses the antagonist of leaving him out, deserting him because he got sick. So he just like, we got to keep moving. He leaves him out there, and then he ends up making it way back to this military outpost because they're all in the military.
I ain't crazy about your plan.
Under and then under court documents release court documents, like he goes like, yeah, he left me there, and I went through all this stuff. So the author found this document and was like, oh, well, I'll fill in the blanks and it'll be the Revenant. And it's completely like, it's like 70% BS.
This man was not actually mauled by a bear.
Yeah, I don't think that actually happened. But but whatever, dude. It's called artistic licensing. But the fact that people thought that thing was like gospel or like truth because it's based on a true story, I'm like, no, that's your classic. Like, oh hey, like this dude won the science fair in fourth grade, and then they're like, oh, based on a true story, and it's like, they make him Latino and he could barely read, and then he wins like some national award. Well, it's based on this one guy winning this one thing one time. Yeah, exactly. So so that book, I read it and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I read up on it. I read the back, and the guy even says it. He was like, hey, like I filled in the blanks, and you're just like, so you made this up anyway. And after that, I was like, screw this guy. Really? And then they said that.
Did he sell it as a true story and then said I filled in?
Yeah, well, his publisher sold it as a true story. Like, oh, this is a true story, and like based on a true story. And you're like, and all these dudes are like have been dead for over 100 years.
Yeah, they can't.
So they couldn't refute it. And then I did a little more digging, and I'm just like, oh. And then they're like, oh, a movie's coming out, and I'm like, well, why? But it's a perfect Hollywood movie, and it got DiCaprio his Academy Award. But yeah, so books, this thing. And Cookstore, because I'm kind of reading. I'm gonna start. I've read it before, but now that I'm watching the TV show again, I'm going to read it again as an accompaniment to the TV show. What about you, man?
I'm still reading Grandfather from Tom Brown Jr., which is very interesting, but it's just more nature forward.
More nature forward. Gotcha.
But I did start watching a show called Escape to River Cottage, and it's about a chef. His name's, I forget his name.
The Hallmark show.
He's like what's his name? He's an English chef.
Of love.
Listen to how fucking English his name is. Hugh Funley Whittingstall. Yes.
Oh dang, that dude's a duke or archbishop or some shit.
Yeah. The Duke of River Cottage. Well, he's a former chef and a food writer. He worked in London at what is it? River. It was a river. It was like a place that trained like April Bloomfield and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So super popular restaurant. He admits to even being like not ready for the job, but falling in love with food. But in this series, it's like it was in the '90s, and it's an English food show, but it's him leaving the hustle and bustle of the city and just going out to the cottage. He bought some old farmer or something like that's cottage, and he starts growing his own food because he wants to become self-sustainable. It's called like downsizers, people that want to just escape to nature minimally. So he starts by building his own garden, consulting a bunch of people in the community, being like, how do I grow these, how to grow that. Then he'll go out and grab chickens, and then he'll start talking about how to make the eggs and how to utilize the eggs. Then he goes out in the first episode and gets pigs, and then he promises the gardener that's helping him with the gardening process that he'll give them one of the pigs. And so it's all bartering and trading. It's just like very much like how it used to be back in the old days.
Nice.
But it's cool to see it in the 90s. And it's really cool to see how he grows the vegetables and like tips and tricks. And I'm just like, oh, this is fucking cool. Like,
that's sick.
Ultimately, my fantasy is to end up in that situation. Maybe not downsizing, but having accessibility to just being able to grow my own shit, eat my own shit. And I like the idea of self-sustainability, which is why every time I pick a job, I'm usually, in hospitality, for cooking specifically, it's just like being able to understand food and how to use it, but also if I need to go anywhere in the world and learn how to do and get a trade, then I can do this.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, moving into medical, just I'm a little hesitant, but at the same time, like, I can utilize those skills into different prospects. But I want to become self-sufficient in one period of my life, and growing vegetables and harvesting and like collecting rainwater and stuff like that. Like that's like a dream of mine. And so watching the show, I'm just like, oh, this is fucking cool. Like, I want to see this. I want to see how he does that. I had a hard time turning it off last night, but I knew I needed to be up earlier today, so I was just like, I gotta turn this. There's like 2 seasons.
Where'd you find it on?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay, cool.
And if you watch The F Word from Gordon Ramsay, it's like a very similar kind of approach.
Concept, yeah.
Yeah, like Gordon, he has his family. He raises livestock. He shows his kids that it's, using it for food, so taking care of it, and then slaughtering. And so it's like him exposing his kids and like, he's like, don't get too touched. And they're like, oh, that's Freddy the pig. Oh. And then he's like, it's time for him to go to butcher. Then they kill him and he comes back and Gordon's cooking up Freddy the pig. And he's like, how does Freddy taste, kids? And he's like, oh, Freddy's delicious, Daddy. I was just like...
Hilarious.
It seems fucked up, but I mean, that's how it is.
That's
right?
how it is, dude.
Except as Americans, we never exposed to the process. When you can come get it on a styrofoam slab that's been packaged, so you've been detached from that reality.
Yeah, there's a major disconnect.
And so like, even when I was at Quince and we'd serve squab with the claw on, people get freaked out. They're like, oh my god, I can't look at that. That's weird. And I was
but
like,
you're supposed to serve it whole. Anyway.
It traditionally is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, weird? How is it weird?
Yeah, it's just an animal.
Right.
That you eat.
What we used to do, but now the people get grossed out by it.
Yeah.
People get grossed out. That's why when I did a whole pig slaughtering or butchering, when we went to go pick out the pig in 2020, called it Pork Fest, and me and a couple friends of mine, we got together. It was during COVID, so we couldn't do shit anyway. And we went to the farm. We picked out a pig. We watched it get slaughtered. So I was like, I stood there and I watched it. I petted too, and I was just like, I don't know, you know how to do this? And I was like, it's my first time ever doing it. It's like losing my virginity to full butchering. And I was just like, thanks, pig. And then you watch the bolt get put into its head like No Country for Old Men. He even had the haircut, bro. He flipped the coin, and I was like, today he dies. And then they shoot it, and then it just goes, and then you're just like, "Fuck, this is brutal."
Yeah.
But then that's not even the bad part. The bad part is when they pull all its hair off by dipping it in boiling water.
Yeah.
And then they put it on a roller, and this thing is just getting smacked up, dude. And I was like, "Damn, I feel kind of bad right now. Like, should I eat pork anymore?" Like, it really, you start questioning it at that point.
Yeah.
But then, like,
but it's dead.
It's dead already.
It's not like it's alive.
Yeah. And
because you've seen the. They do the same thing with chickens. They'll boil them.
Yeah.
And they kill them, boil them, and they throw them in this thing that has like all these fingers in it, and it spins, and it defeathers them, and it's super cool. And you pull out whatever feathers are doing. I did that with duck. I had a buddy. Sorry, side note.
No,
who killed ducks, and he killed some ducks, and he was like, "Hey," and I was running a taco truck, and we would do duck breast tacos.
What? How much are those cost?
It was delicious.
$8 each?
No, they were only like $4.
Really?
Like $4.50. Yeah, they're super good too. And he was like, "Hey, you want to?" And I bought a pot to boil them in, and I didn't have one of those things, so I just like ripped them out by the thing. It took forever.
Yeah.
Gave me a whole new respect for it.
Yeah, you're like.
But I was kind of just like, I don't want to do that shit again.
The house.
Yeah.
The maid that can stay.
I
I
got tired like third duck in, and I'm like, dude, how the hell am I supposed to do 8 of these things?
Damn.
And then I ended up butchering them. And I just didn't butcher them properly because they're smaller. And I was like, I've butchered chickens before.
Like
it's fine. Yeah. And then I cut them up and I massacred them. We only used like 3 of the breasts. Yeah, it was bad. Dude, and I was like, so then like I just freaking cut them up, and then the breasts I threw in the oven. The ones I really couldn't use, I made sure to make them super clean, take the skin off, and then I put them in the thing. And it was fine, but we can only use 3 for our the tacos, but it was a big old bummer, dude. But then we ended up getting duck breast from no, there's this place down in Selma that does organic or organic poultry. And then they did ducks was one of the things so we'd get ducks from them. Sanger. Sanger. I can't remember where exactly. I'll remember them probably in a second. Yeah, dude. So, but yeah, there's a place in Sanger that did organic poultry in general, and then you can get like chicken breast from them, or chicken from them. You can get turkey from them. You can get duck from them, geese. And then we'd get our ducks from them. But I had a buddy who was like, "Hey, I shot ducks. Like, you want some for the taco?" I was like, "Oh, sure, man." I was like, "I've never." Yeah. He said he pulled the he said they semi-cleaned them, but I was going through and making sure there's no. I don't think that I saw any beads, any BBs or anything. But yeah, I butchered those fucking things, and I was like, man, I really need to learn how to do this properly. It was something that interests me, but it was definitely like a whole new respect, I think. But anyway, so you're watching this pig get fucking massacred.
Yeah, and then we were thinking about using the intestines for tripas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched these two dudes actually clean out the intestines for tripas, and they were there for a fucking minute. I was like, and they're like trying to scramble to get the fucking hose on to get into the organs and clean them out. And I was like, I don't think I'll be doing that today.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey man, you guys want these? And they're like, fuck no.
Yeah.
They're like, throw them away, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't take the head, which I regret. I wish we would have taken the head because that would have been a lot more cool. And then like maybe boil it down and use the skull.
Yeah.
And then make a pig.
Put on the hood of your car.
Yeah, exactly. Let it rot. Make some head cheese though.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Seeing that in hindsight now, I would go back. But what I did with it was we took the primal cuts, so we cut it into 6. And for the hindquarters, we did carnitas.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had the caso with copper and lard. And they made.
I want to get one of those.
Dude, they're expensive because
they're copper. They're copper. Yeah, they're very expensive.
And they came up pretty good. We ate it with tacos, Coca-Cola orange into the actual manteca, so it had a bunch of flavoring, some cinnamon as well. And then I took the center cut with the loin and the belly, and I rolled it for porchetta, and then seasoned it with like fennel pollen. Lemon zest, chili pepper, rosemary. I got some pictures in here too. I can show you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, send them to me and then we'll put them on the thing.
Oh, that's a great idea. And then, rolled that bad boy up, and it was pretty fucking killer.
That's cool.
It was pretty killer. I learned a lot though. I learned that you can't just take a freshly killed pig and then try to expect like a porchetta because that skin needs to dry out for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was like I scored it, I stabbed it, I salted it, and then I put it in the fridge overnight. But that wasn't nearly enough. That thing was moist. That skin was moist, so it came out very firm.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that styrofoamy, the bubbling up.
Yeah.
So I had to like use extra char. I poured hot oil over it, but it still didn't do the job. What it needed is time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still pretty good because it made good sandwiches. And then I put mortadella in it too for extra fat.
Nice.
Because the loin will dry out, but there's a lot of fat in the belly. And then we cooked the ribs. We made barbecue ribs. Like it was cool, and it was only a few $100.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a different process altogether because it wasn't just going to the store and buying this
Mm-hmm.
and that. And my neighbors used to kill whole pigs too, and they make carnitas.
Yeah.
But they would slaughter it in their backyard.
Yeah.
They were down, bro. I was like, fuck. But that shit was good. That was good. And so I wanted to do something like that too because I wanted to be more involved with the food process. And so we did that, and it was a really cool experiment. If you haven't butchered a whole animal, and you're in the industry, I definitely recommend from living to death and then eating that process to do it because it's different, Puts you in touch with nature and the process of. And
makes you respect food even more. Like there's one thing watching it get cooked, and
right.
These dudes are like knocking these plates out super fast and doing all this prep to make sure that the service is done. And there's a sense of respect that you get from that.
Yeah.
Some of you guys just don't give a shit.
No,
and then, but there's definitely a different thing of like trying to do it yourself and just being like, oh, this is really fucking difficult.
This is fucking hard,
and it takes a lot of time. Yeah. And then everyone has that, I want to move to the farm one day or move to a mountain and become self-sufficient. It's just like, yeah, well, you know what? You should try plucking a chicken, bro, because...
It's like both having a kid and a business. It's just you're constantly on it, just entrepreneurship kind of mindset, and then, and then taking care of things all the time. So it's definitely one of those later in life kind of plans when I'm just like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I still got things to achieve now, but... When I get to that point, then I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But also waste. Waste is the big one, too. Because then you're like, I'm not throwing this shit away. I paid fucking
a bunch
hell
of money
for this.
Yeah.
I watched this thing die. I looked it in the eyes. Pig eyes are weird because they look
Yeah.
like humans. And I was like, oh, this is fucking strange. No wonder people don't eat this shit. It actually
love
kind of
pig,
put me
though.
off pork for a while. Honestly,
I fucking love pork.
it's dude when it's done right, fuck, it is killer. But yeah, they're very human-like characteristics, and you're just like, this is fucking weird.
I think it's the sounds.
Yeah, sounds too.
Goats too. Goats make really like they scream as well. Yeah, they're super crazy. I've seen a goat get killed for use for eating. I've heard pigs get killed, but I've never actually seen it firsthand. But I have actually heard it. And then when I was going out my Central Valley, my mother knew someone we knew family my family knew people who ran farms.
Nice.
And us being children, our parents would pump us out to these places. For free, because free labor, and we're Latino, so they're just like, you gotta fucking do it at some point. Yeah, so like I remember picking grapes and like doing crush with places.
That was
I remember, yeah, and then
there
there was a farm. My mom's friends had cows, but he also butchered pigs and everything, and goats. And I got woken up. I spent like a summer on this farm, a couple summers actually, and. I remember getting woken up at like 3 a.m. because the cow was it was giving birth, and I had to go and help with that. And this dude, her husband, he got kicked by the cow in his thigh, and he saw it coming too, and he pushed me out of the way. He gets kicked, he punches the cow in the ass, and then turns it, and then he's able to like get it. And I was just like, holy moly, it was massive. And then to learn how to ride horses and saddle horses and all this other stuff as a kid.
Cool. That's a
and it's fun. But it was definitely, I was like, holy, my eyes were like this big, and he was like, hey, I need you. And I'm like, what? You just don't want me to get kicked in the chest? I'm like 8. And you want kicked out the freaking the life kicked out of me, bro.
You go to FFA and fucking...
Yeah, dude. Nah. I went to Edison, bro. That shit ain't gonna happen there. Maybe FH, Future Homemakers American. I'm making homes up in Edison.
Hell yeah.
But it was a pretty good experience. But it's definitely a lot of work, and I think it's people don't understand. But yeah, if you, like Daniel said, if you have that chance to go out to farms and do other these sort of things, it was Mary's Chickens in Sanger.
No way.
And they do, or Mary's Poultry in Sanger, and they do like more grass fed or like no non-GMO,
no additives,
none of that. Yeah. Definitely go out there and check it out, because it does give you a whole new perspective on food in general. And then it might turn you off to food sometimes, and then but it's still worth it. Yeah.
I'm still eating it.
I have a buddy from Hawaii, and we always talked about doing a pig roast with him, and he was just like, "I'm down, bro. I'm down." He goes, "I'll just let me know, brother." And I'm like, sweet, let's do it. Yeah, dude. So we gotta get it going. He said he'll even do a pit, because he's like, oh yeah, my family used to do pit, so like we'll dig a pit and do this and that. And I was like, oh, so maybe that'll have to be an episode we just buy a whole pig and just freaking do it. That'd be sweet. I'm in.
We can go from dead chickens, so that way we don't have to do the violence part.
Yeah.
But I can break it all down.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can too. I'm sure you broke down a million of them, especially for tacos.
Anyway,
shits and giggles.
Shits and giggles. Cool. So we're on the topic of the day.
That only took 2 hours.
I only took.
It's a good thing that we having these small ones. It leaves a lot of room for expansion.
Yeah.
So food, print, and media.
Like an hour. Yeah, food, print, and media. We're trying to talk about the food, print, media.
Whatever, bro. Joe Rogan podcast is like 4 hours long.
Yeah, I know, dude. So I always like to keep them within an hour, because that's a good travel time, or like 2 travel times for some people. But we're talking about food, print, media, food magazines. See, babies.
The veal of human.
The veal, the ultimate delicacy.
The suckling human.
No, but food, print, media. There's a lot of it available.
You mean magazines, books?
Magazines, books. Primarily focus more on magazines. I do like to read. Well, we just talked about books for a second ago. But I do enjoy reading food books, especially when it's people's experiences with food, or them jumping into the industry, or them writing about the industry. I know Bourdain was a really big catalyst for writing about things that were never really spoken about in the industry. That's why he got so huge in general, like him writing articles for, and exposés and like the Times, and then also the New Yorker, and doing all these other things. And and then he got him his book deal, and then he was able to get out of the kitchen, which he really, loves watching. He really loves, like, that's what the recommend the cook store. He really loves watching people doing the craft of cooking, or working in the kitchen, and he loves experiencing that and loves sharing that with people. But there, you could also tell that it was
wearing.
It was slightly wearing on him, especially when he got older. And he didn't really ever go back per se to doing it. Not like, I don't know if Ramsay cooks anymore, but you will see him do all these TV shows, and then he'll cook in the TV shows.
Fucking hustler, bro.
Dude.
Did you see that he almost died? He got in an accident.
No.
He got I forgot what the injury was induced from, but he was on set shaking, like from the trauma that he had, and then he showed his hematoma, dude. It's like his whole. I think he had a motorcycle accident or something.
Oh, dang!
His whole side was black and blue, and I was like, and this motherfucker showed up to work. And he was like, he couldn't even hold his hand straight. He was just like, his body was in shock, and he's just like, oh, I'm fine. And I'm like,
it had just happened.
It was like a few weeks post.
Post. That's wild.
But his body was still traumatized. Like he couldn't. He was shaking.
Yeah, dude's nuts.
Work ethic is insane.
Well, he grew up like old school. That's the thing that people don't understand. Like, there's those memes that came out a couple of years ago that were just like, oh yeah, like Gordon Ramsay. No wonder why this guy cusses so much, this and that. But I'm like, dude, that guy, he came up the old way. The Bourdain way. Yeah, like he came up this way where we're like, yeah, you can go to cooking school, but you pretty much work your way up from the dish pit, or you work your way into there, and then you just eat shit every single day for multiple years, for 3 years at least, because it's 3 years to, like, from apprentice to usually like 3 years, and you get into something, a station, and then you just go that way. That's what I always liked about restaurants in general, because everything's a craft. Like, like you can go to bartending school, which is kind of a load of shit, and you can go to cooking school, which does help you, teaches you fundamentals, get your knife skills on point, stuff like that. But you're the most you're ever going to learn is actually being in the heat of battle, in the shit, trying to figure all this stuff out, and trying to also keep your station clean, trying to kick out as many of whatever, with your pantry, like salads, whatever, or grill, or whatever the hell you're doing, making sauces, doing that, making sure it's all consistent, making sure it's just not coagulating, making sure everything is tasting exactly the same, either your first dish that you serve at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening, or your last dish that you serve at 12:30 at night, in the morning. It all has to be exactly the same. And these guys are getting there, and they're getting yelled at in French by British people, or English people who learn French and they just know kitchen French or whatever. And they're just like, oh, okay, what do you say? What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to cook this out, like this and that. And it's this whole different style of pressure. Right. And of course, that dude has freaking insane work ethic, which is also like this. I feel that not print media per se. Maybe we'll talk about visual media, but next episode we'll talk about visual media, but like how the Food Network's really undersold that, and like the cooking channels undersold that, and like even PBS is kind of undersold exactly how difficult this is to do consistently, and still after 5 years still have a passion for it, after 2 years still have a passion for it, let alone people who've been doing it for decades,
making a lifestyle of it.
Dude, it's nuts.
Like Harrison Cheney, dude, at Sons and Daughters, that just got this 2nd star. I remember meeting him at Quince, and he was just like, I was like, this is what you want to do? And he's like, this is what I want to do. And I was like, well, man, I got respect for you, because it took me 5 years to realize that no fucking way, like, I'm not doing this anymore. But seeing in his eyes the dedication to actually, he's like, no, I'm going to get Michelin stars, and I'm going to become famous from doing this. Yeah. And he fucking did it. I'm just like, damn, dude, respect. Like, and it was just every day showing up, eating shit. Panic attacks, stressed out, and I'm just like, that's fucking brutal. It's a hard way to come up, but if you want to make it to the top, that kind of commitment is what's needed. Yeah. And I feel, especially in like the newer generations, and I hate to say it, but the newer generations, but the understanding of that, this is what you need to do, and this is what you have to do it to get there, is misunderstood because of those things. Because they're just like, I'm just going to run a TV show. I'm going to go on Top Chef. And I'm gonna become famous.
Try to take the easy way out.
Try to ride the fucking curtails of a TV show up to complete, to mainstream, and stay on that. And then all you end up is doing dinners for Bacardi and things like that. And you're just like, I don't know. It's a different approach. It's not for me, but it's because it was trained by people like that as well. Like very old school, meat still on the bone, and it's roasting type deal. Yeah. But which is why I respect Gordon Ramsay and people like Harrison that just like, I'm actually going to do this all the way through. And I'm like, fuck, dude, it took me 5 years and I was just like, fuck this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a thing like you have to be consistent and on all the time because that's your livelihood. That's not just your livelihood of you making a paycheck because the pay is shit. Right. Like, let's be honest. Like, the pay in restaurants and food service in general is shit.
People don't realize that, though. Front of the house gets paid exponentially more than back of the house.
Yep, they do.
And it's weird because it's just, honestly, it's just all an exploitation of labor. The people that have to be there all the time to make these products get exploited because we can't, if you pay them that same wage, they'd go, I wouldn't say bankrupt, but they lose a lot of profit margins.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is just like, these are all seen as entry-level jobs. It doesn't matter that, you know, like, yeah, you don't need to apprentice under someone to wash dishes in the restaurant. It's a vital role in the restaurant because, like we talked in the first episode, your dish goes down, your dish pit goes down, and you're screwed. You run out of plates, you run out of glasses, you run out of everything. You're screwed. You know, silverware, like, try serving your third course without a fork, bro. You know, so it's just one of those things. And then, but people even see, like, you know, your salad stations or pantry chefs or this and that, and I was like, oh, it's kind of, anyone can get trained in it. You can kind of master it in a couple months. So it's kind of entry level in general. But they never want to. Once you master a station, they never want to pay you more money. They'll laterally move you and to keep you at the same rate. And it's like, oh, cool. Like, now you're doing, you know, soups and sauces and this and that. That's your station now. Or you're doing like, you're doing this and that. And then, oh, you're just starting, so we're going to keep you the same pay. Or we're going to give you 50 cents more, and that's it. And it's, you cap out. So I've worked at restaurants to where the back of house gets no tips. And I've worked at restaurants to where back of house gets 10%. I've never seen it go over 10% of tips from the front. And front of house gets pissed. And I'm like, I understand the argument of
dealing with guests.
You have to deal with guests. And in all honesty, 99% of back of house people cannot deal with people in general.
No.
You do not want them talking to customers. You do not want them interacting with anyone outside of whoever their captain is.
Blows my mind.
Oh, dude, insane. I'm just like, oh, you want to see all these? You want to see a bunch of Guatemalans with fucking shitty ass looks on their goddamn face while you're eating your fucking chicken, fucking cordon bleu or whatever?
Dude,
fuck you, dude.
The fuck you do, bro. No,
Yeah.
Same thing with the food. The whole big. They don't want to see how it's made.
They don't want to see how it's
made.
made,
After the final product.
Yeah, just give me my steak, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking roadkilled. Thanks. Yeah. Usually, anytime we get a well done, extra well done steak, dude, I could just hear the groans from the kitchen, and that shit was a closed kitchen. And I'd run back there as soon as I punched it in. I'd run back there and be like, "Hey guys, sorry, this dude has no taste," and you just hear cusses coming from the head chef and the grill cook.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, well, let me know when, you know, in 15 minutes when you're done so I can knock out their side really fast because if I put it now, it's going to fucking get cold. And they like, you hear all these grumbling, you just move down the line. I'm like, they didn't even get a salad. Calm down, salad station. Fuck you. So, So,
rendering that slap of meat.
Yeah, dude. So it's like, oh, you want charcoal? Just give them charcoal. Yeah, we get it. We understand. We've all made. We get the joke, bro. Fucking calm down. But yeah, you don't want, like, I understand. You don't want them talking to the front of house like guests. So. And being in customer service is very hard. It's very draining. But also, those guys are making less than you. So, at the end of the day, the back house making less in front of house. So, like, give them a little bit of love. Right. And don't get mad when they end up, you know, betting a hostess with French fries.
Hey, man, look. We gotta live too, bro.
We got olive, bro. We gotta give them some olives.
Yeah, show a little love, bro. Buy them a drink. Buy them a beverage.
Dude, anytime I worked at this one spot, and anytime the back of house would come up, and they would get a drink at the bar. Yeah. The owner would be like, "What are they doing out there?" And I'm like, so we had an outside bar, patio bar, and I'm like. So I tell them, like, hey, do you gotta go to the patio? They're like, what? I'm like, fucking owner wants you, bro, in the patio. Sorry, man. They'd be sitting there, like, in their, you know, chef's whites or whatever, their shirt off, and then have their undershirt on, and they'd be drinking a beer, drinking a cocktail, because we had good cocktails there. And he'd be like, "Hey, you get a shift drink or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's a pittance for you making bare minimum. You can have a cocktail drink."
Bro. Hey, you know what? That went a long way.
It goes a long way,
a
dude.
long
That's
way.
what the weird thing is. People don't understand that shit.
Yeah.
And
That kept me by his arm
yeah,
for
dude.
a minute.
I'd have to kick him back. I'm like, "Hey, bro, like, I got the look. You got to go to the back." They're like, "What? It's cold out there." And I'm like,
Sorry, I know it's middle
Sorry,
of winter in
bro.
the Central Valley.
"Yeah, I know
Enjoy it
I know it's
outside.
45 degrees outside, but
The pipes are frozen. Yeah, I wish we could still bring you in here, but you look bad.
yeah, dude, you're sweaty and you're a little bit too dark for these people. So you got to get to the back, dude."
Dude, for real though. No, it's fact.
They're feeling like you're not one of the good ones, so we need you outside, freezing your ass off.
Man, it's true.
I'll turn the heater on. No, I can't. I'm not going to turn the
Oh,
heater
he
on.
said we can't waste propane.
We
on
can't
you.
waste
Oh,
propane.
Sorry.
We love you and thank you for that
Thanks
phenomenal
for working
rib.
16 hours
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, thanks for not fucking up the short rib, but
Yeah.
sit outside.
Brutal, dude. Brutal. And people think times have changed.
No, nothing
It's
changed.
man. Just gotten better at
Perception's changed slightly.
hiding. Right. Because they made a TV show, they got a bunch of awards out of it. Now everyone wants to take home the degenerate line cook, right?
Yeah, we got to do that. But anyway,
Oh yeah, that's
that's the next thing that's on there.
We should just watch it. We should do that for the Patreon.
We should do it for the
And we should
Patreon.
get some professionals and have a little watch party.
Yeah,
We
let's
can
see
do
what
it
they
somewhere.
say. We could.
Damn, that'd be perfect for a studio.
That would be perfect for the studio. Anyway, yeah, I think that's long enough. We can talk about print media next time. We keep kicking things back.
I know.
But yeah, we'll talk about print media. That'll give us a little bit of time.
I mean, I feel like it's nebulous, you know.
Yeah.
It's we had a long conversation about other things.
Yeah, we could probably knock out print media and we'll see how we feel about Food Network and Cooking Channel like after that.
Okay, sounds good.
And then, but yeah.
On the next episode. So
Yee.
hold up. All right.
Cool. I'm Saul.
I'm Daniel.
This is the Local Drunks.
Podcast.
And you can hit us up on Instagram or YouTube. You could also follow us on Patreon. Just look up Local Drunks Pod. And we should be, I'm just going to start flooding that Patreon with videos and also some other things as well. Food
If you have any
pics.
questions, concerns, comments, email us at localdrunkspod@gmail.com. So that way we can, tell us what you want to hear, what you want to know. And we're looking to get some professionals to consult with them about different crafts, like wine, potentially.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, how it's made, essentially. Any recipes, recommendations, anything like
Yeah.
that.
Probably gonna hit up a couple of buddies at different breweries, see if we can do like a brew day as
All
well.
right, cool. Do a little tour.
Just do a little tour, watch them make beer, and we'll videotape it all and then load it up to the Patreon as well. Maybe load a couple shorts to YouTube. And then same thing with the distilleries. Maybe we'll hit the malt floor. I'm going there in like a week anyway to Admiral Malting, so maybe I'll
nice.
record it while I'm there and post it up
yeah.
on the thing.
Especially if you're getting a tour.
And then, we'll hit up a winery too, maybe two. Too bad we don't have Leo's number. We could hit him up and be like, hey.
I'm sure we can still hit him out.
Yeah, we probably
He's
can.
a cool guy.
And then head over there and do that. And then also be on the lookout for Spencer's from my mom's cellar.
His mom?
His mom's from my parents' cellar.
No, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I think
And he'll
it'd
be
be a good
doing that
segment.
short. I think that'd be a good segment, dude. I love
Like
Spencer. He's
PBS.
so
Let me
freaking
tell you about creme de banana.
creme de banane.
Creme de banana.
Anyway, all right.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks
Thanks for joining us.
tuning in, and have a good week.
Appreciate you watching and taking the time. Bye-bye.
Bye.